come on, this is 12 years of POG experience.
Years of academy training.
Wasted.
Oh, so close.
But I mean, my POG is player of the game. How's my little POG champ?
Wait, one more time. Ready?
Unless you guys have been living under a rock for the past month, you guys have no doubtably heard of Squid Games. You've seen the memes, you've seen it on social media, you've seen it on people's Instagram stories, you've seen it on Netflix recommendations. It's actually number 1 on Netflix today. It is the hottest new survival drama from Korea. So today I'm actually joined by my brother, Mike. He's actually a writer and he's actually going to be starting his own YouTube channel as well. Say hello.
Hello.
It is about this one guy. His name is Gi-hun.
He's a deadbeat.
He's a deadbeat. He's a gambler. He's addicted to gambling. He steals money to gamble from his poor old mom.
And we catch him in a really bad day. It's his daughter's birthday. And just a bunch of bad things happen to him. But we're also kind of given the idea that this is a regular day for him too as well. Like,
and eventually, at the end of this day, he loses all his money and he's super, super down on luck. And eventually, he meets this guy in the subway who's played by Gong-yu, who's the guy that plays Goblin in Goblin, and he's also the guy from freaking Train to Busan.
Yeah.
And he plays this game with him, which is a little children's game, which is basically the Korean version of Pogs. I don't know if you ever played. In America, we played a lot of Pogs. Played a lot of Pogs as little kids in America, and so it's the Korean version of Pogs. Eventually, he wins, and at the end of the game, he's given an invitation to join the Squid Games. He doesn't know it's called the Squid Games, but he's given an invitation to join some kind of game. And, seeing as there's nothing left to lose, he takes the invitation to go play the games. He's like, hey, I want money. I like money. And I like gambling.
And it starts off really weird because they get all knocked out. So from the very beginning, something's weird about this.
It's pretty funky.
Yeah.
And so him and 500 other gamblers, criminals, and just people in debt are put into this room and gathered together to play the Squid Games. So they play their first game, which is called Red Light, Green Light, which is an innocent children's game. It's simple. When someone says green light, you go. When someone says red light, you stop. And if you don't stop when they say red light, then you are eliminated. And in this TV series, what it means to be eliminated
is to actually get killed.
Is to actually literally die, and in this case by sniper fire. And eventually the rest of the contestants find out like, hey, this isn't just some crazy kids game. This is actually a real game with real consequences. And they all freak out and run to the exits. And because they're running, obviously when the person said red light, they also get shot and mowed down. And by the end of the first game, more than half of the 456 contestants are mowed down and dead. And the contestants, they obviously don't want to play this game where they have to risk their life. And so they all make a vote and they're like, hey, we want to go home. The contestants, when they go back home, they find out that life actually wasn't as good as they thought it was. And, maybe...
Or rather, they have less to live for.
Maybe the games actually aren't that bad.
Yeah.
So they all make the decision to actually go back to the games again. This time, knowing that they're risking their life, but they're doing this with the knowledge that they're playing for $38.7 million.
That's the game, right? They're going to keep playing
the Squid Games. And they keep playing more and more games until it narrows down to 3. And of course, it's a predictable K-drama. Obviously, the main character wins. He wins the money. But because of what he experienced and what happens after the games, he's led into this very depressed and sad state that he doesn't even spend the $40 million. He kind of just holds on to it.
That's Squid Game. It's it's a survival drama, right? Which is from a long chain of survival dramas. You could say that survival dramas are pretty popular right now because of our current world climate, right? Like the idea of having
like
to fight
trying to get money, even if it means risking your life.
Is a literal thing that people are doing right now. As far back as the original survival drama, and if you say Hunger Games, you're wrong because
don't say Hunger Games. Don't say Hunger. It's not Hunger Games.
It's Battle Royale.
Battle Royale, which was a Japanese manga,
and that's how I was introduced to the genre. Was Battle Royale. We're just watching these high school students who had been declared as social rejects were forced to fight these death games with each other to get off the island. And you can see this naturally leads into Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, Death Race.
Yeah.
Alice in Borderland is a really popular one if you guys haven't seen it. It's also on Netflix. Netflix is probably already recommending that show to you if you watched Squid Game. So Alice in Borderland, this TV show reminded me a lot of that. And also kind of reminded me of the Saw series.
Damn it.
For me, it was really similar to Gantz, where you take social rejects after they've died. So these are people who have no place in society, and after they die, they get to compete in these like really twisted games to gain points to come back into society. And because in Squid Games, they give them the option to leave anytime they want if they beat a vote, and that's the same thing in Gantz.
Alice in Borderland or Squid Games? Which one was better?
So
At least season 1 of Alice in Borderland, because that's all we have.
I will say that at least Alice in Borderland made more internal logic, right? Because Alice in Borderland was admittedly weird. Like the whole point was it was already weird. But at least internally, so in the world, the things that was happening made sense, right? Like weird technology makes sense because these are aliens or whatever. So it's okay that. It's okay for these weird contrivances to happen. But in Squid Game, sometimes the rules seem very inconsistent.
It's just up to the prison guards.
Exactly. Right?
Whatever they feel like is right.
Yeah. But even just like the first game, the red light, green light, it's like, okay, so there's this sniper and he can magically make headshots every single time. And he can like
how's it different than like magical lasers that come out of the sky?
Because in Squid Games they're pretending to be in the real world with real world physics. But yet here we have a high powered rifle that can obviously shoot from very far away based on the reticle and the way they shot the scene, but it has no penetration. Nobody accidentally gets shot behind. And then also people dying, like apparently you can trick them by pretending to die, or you can die later, or the definition of dying in certain games is kind of iffy up to the person's rule, which is how certain people are able to, beat the game, right? Like, for example, the marble game, Cho Sang-woo kind of like breaks a bunch of rules so that his ploy can work. Anyway, so there's a lot of contrivances in Squid Games, and at least Alice in Borderland was internally logical. For me, how about you? What did you think?
I think just story-wise, I liked Squid Games a little bit more.
And you are right. Squid Games has really great writing from the main character's perspective, which I didn't get in Alice in Borderlands, right? Like, yeah, he likes to play games with his friends. Cool. We set up the character with a truth and a lie, right? His truth is that he wants to love his family and he needs to learn to love and appreciate his family, right? Like his mother, his daughter, etc. But his lie is that if I have enough money, I can become a better father, right? Like he says that several times, like, I want to be a better dad, but he's a deadbeat dad, right? So, and by the end of the story, he gets his lie. Here's all the money that you can possibly spend, but it doesn't give him his truth because his daughter has moved to the States, his mom has died, right? Like he realizes like all the money in the world is not going to make me not be a deadbeat dad. And then you see him like, oh, I'm going to try to change, but he doesn't really because he gets pulled back in. So yeah, you're right. The writing as far as the main character is concerned and the arc he takes is way better in Squid Game for sure.
For those of you guys who have watched both, which one do you guys think is better? Alice in Borderland or Squid Games? Let me know in the comments below. So obviously, how this TV show is set up, it's meant to be a commentary on society. It's a social commentary.
And it's very on the nose, right? Every person is worth a certain amount of money.
You are worth 100 million won.
Which is how much?
Which is about $80,000,
which is a really sad commentary, right?
Not really that much.
No, I mean,
it's an obvious social commentary about poverty. If you don't have any money, then life is really horrible. And if you are in poverty and you are poor, it's very hard to get out of poverty. Unless you win the lottery, like winning the Squid Games, or unless you're born into a wealthy family, sometimes it's almost impossible to climb out of your social class, which is what I guess Squid Games was trying to tell you or show to you.
Yeah, and the main characters of Squid Games are like a cross section of Korean culture, right? Like, so you have a normal working person, you have what we would call like a higher class person in Cho Sang-woo. He's a You know, he's a genius. He's college educated, right? He's like the star of his family. You have a North Korean defector. You have a migrant worker. You have a thug. You have an older lady that's like down in her luck and has made poor choices. So yeah, you're trying to, and you have the old man, of course, who has his own secret. So yeah, you get like this cross-sectional view of society, and that's what a good survival drama does, right? Like it takes these cross sections of people and reveals more and more about them, you know.
For me, I really actually was not satisfied at all with the ending. The ending, I don't know if they did it on purpose, but they put the main character in a way where he didn't really get anything good at the end.
Well, and this is a tragedy,
this is
right?
probably done on purpose.
Yeah, it's a tragedy.
I think it was trying to show the irony of how, you know, he went through hell and back. He went through all these crazy games, and he did it all for his daughter, supposedly all for his daughter and for his mom, but maybe it was really just for himself. And the irony of it is he went through all of this, and he doesn't even get to, you know, share his winnings with his daughter or his mom.
Well, and I think that's what makes it tragic, is because he spends his entire life, he risked his life literally for his lie, that money can solve everything. And after he gets all the money he could possibly want, he realizes that it doesn't give him what he really wanted in the first place, which was a daughter that he could love and the respect and taking care of his mom. You know, like he doesn't have that, and all the people that he could have been friends with, he's killed or watched killed. Now. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I would say that actually is a good part, that they actually made the character suffer, and you the watcher.
So you liked how it ended.
I liked that part of the ending, but the second part, where it was all part of this international game and the game he plays with the old man at the very end, I didn't like that part. I thought it was super contrived. I was like, no, you ruined a perfectly good ending by trying to give us more twists.
I don't know. I don't like how they made like the little twist where, oh, actually the old guy is the main bad guy. And it's just like, oh, come on, dude. And another reason I didn't like it was actually kind of the appeal of Squid Games. It was just really dark. No, actually, like the actual brightness and luminance of the TV show was dark. So there were times where, like, if I wanted to watch a certain scene, I literally had to like stand up and walk towards the TV. There was some scenes where I was just like, what the freak's happening, dude? Like the scene where all the lights are coming on and off, it's just like flashing, where everyone's like trying to kill themselves in the dorm. Okay, before we end, if you were given $38.7 million, okay, and you had to spend it right now, fun answers only, no paying back debt, no investing, no buying houses, what would you spend $38.7 million on?
I don't think that's a number that I can't even, you know, like, I really don't know. Probably to find a PS5. It's impossible. That's probably how much they're going for on eBay right now.
I would use my $38.7 million to start my own K-pop group.
Whoa,
no, actually,
great. I love it.
I would use my $38.7 million to buy Luna. All right, guys, what would you guys spend your $38.7 million? Also, what did you guys think of Squid Games? Did you guys like it? Not like it? Why? Let us know down in the comments below.